What's up, guys? Heart Pirates TCG here. I decided to bring back Old Faithful because I kept losing with Sakazuki because I just couldn't draw any counter. If you watched my stream, I think this video is going to come out the day after the stream. It's just very frustrating playing Sakazuki where it seems like it's so great, and it is when it draws well, but you know, you're so reliant on seeing a certain amount of cards, right? A set of cards in combination with each other. Like, for example, Houndblaze in Great Eruption, Ice Age and Lucci, Ice Age and Borsalino. There's like a lot of cards that you need on top of counter, and then obviously your Rebecca is a counter, but you don't want to play her as a counter. Same with Moncherie. Pretty much all of your 1Ks you don't want to play, or you don't want to counter with Borsalino, all of that, right? So I was very frustrated that I kept losing to basically a 5 at life attack, a 6 at life attack. And I was like, dude, this is just not fun right now for me. So temporarily, I'm taking a break from from Sakazuki, and I built this Crocodile deck that I took to my locals and actually got first place with. Now, it was a very small locals. I only played against a Enel and a Purple Luffy, which I beat both of them, and I ended up winning the whole locals, which I know it was just a very small locals on Sunday, which is normally what it is. But before that locals, I played on the sim, and I beat a Katakuri, I beat a couple Enels, I beat a couple Purple Luffys, and I beat a Sakazuki. So I think Sakazuki might be a matchup that's 50-50, but after this video, I will show you a couple games of me playing against meta decks. Hopefully I can find them on the sim, and just show you what the deck can do. So without further ado, that was a long intro, I know, but we're gonna play 2 Zephs. Now, we were playing 3, but we decided to cut it for a Gum Gum Rain, which we will show you later on today, of, what other events we're playing. But we're playing 2 Zephs, and then we're playing 4 of the Borsalinos. So Borsalino is just really good on curve. This deck wants to go first. So if you play that, especially against Purple Luffy, you hit their page 1s, you hit their blocker laws, you hit their ultis if they play it, you hit, well, that's pretty much it. But, still hit them, which is nice on curve, and establish an AK body, which is tough for them to out. And then, of course, we are playing, right here, we are playing 4 Mihawks. Mihawk is just another perfect answer on curve that obviously just bottom decks a 7. Of course, playing Borsalino and then playing Mihawk is very devastating because you have a 8K body on the field as well as a 9K body on the field, as well as taking away 2 of their bigger bodies, a 4 and a 7. And you're just applying a lot of pressure, especially with the Crocodile effect. If you want to, after you drop the Mihawk, you can just stay at basically 7 Dawn pretty much the whole time. You use your leader effect, and then you don't wait a turn, and then you play 9 Dawn again, use your leader effect. So just that's really nice. And then our last big character is you're playing 3 of the Draw Kaidos. The Draw Kaidos are just, guys, the Draw Kaidos are absolutely ridiculous. They are just the most ridiculous card in the entire game, because when you think about it like this, you drop a Mihawk, right, and like they already have a hard time getting rid of like a Borsalino and a Mihawk. If you drop a Kaido on the board, you're just immediately drawing 4, as well as getting another Mihawk to hand. You're getting another Borsalino to hand. You're getting maybe a Zeph to hand if you really need it. You're getting red rocks, like stuff like that. It's just like an easy, it finds all of your pieces. And it's another thing, like it's a desperation play too, where like if you just play this, if you have like 1 or 2 life left and you have like 6 cards in hand, you play this and now you're at 10 cards in hand. And if they only have like 1 body on the field, they're like, damn, can I even go for game here? And most of the time they can't, and I'll show you why they can't in a second. But those are our big characters right there. We're playing a total of 3, 7, 10, 12 big characters, which, a decent amount, especially helps with recursion and whatnot, because, if they bottom deck them or kill them with Sakazuki, you can just get more. But we are playing events. We're playing 9 in total. We are playing 4 3000 Worlds. 4 3000 Worlds is just incredibly beneficial for Magellan and Polly and, any Queen, Blocker Kid, anything they play like that. This is perfect for. This is actually what I put it in there for. I'm playing 4 of this, and I'm only playing 3 Red Rocks. And the reason I'm playing 3 Red Rocks is because this deck doesn't really have a lot of like problems with late game decks, for example. Like the only card that like you really want to Red Rock is like Big Mom. But honestly, you can just swing into Big Mom with Kaido if you really want to. Like, you can put like forward on Kaido and swing 16 at it, and, you know, Red Rock something else, like Red Rock Yamato, or, you know, swing into Yamato and Red Rock the Big Mom, or, you know, obviously you boost this up really big and play a couple blockers. Like, there's a lot of things you can do. Like, you don't have to just like remove things by effects anymore. You can just swing into them with your big characters, and that's kind of what I've been doing. Is like, the big characters are there to obviously like they're like pseudo board clearers almost, right? Like, in combination with these 7 events, as well as your leader effect and like one of the big characters, you're basically either like one turn you're taking away a character, the next turn you're swinging into a rested character, which is probably going to die, right? It's either like a 5 or 6k that you're swinging into, or maybe you boost up your characters just a little bit more, and then, you know, you use a Red Rock or a 3000 Worlds, and then you use your leader effect, and you're taking away 3 characters on the board, while, you know, basically just walling off essentially. So those are 7 events, and I'm playing one more. I'm playing a Gum Gum Rain. This was a Zeph for the tournament that I played, but I just think that Gum Gum Rain is just a little bit more helpful because there's not any discard engine really other than Kaya, but we don't have any cards that really bounce Kaya other than leader effect. So there's just not a lot to like get rid of dead cards, and sometimes our 1k counters, we actually kind of want to use them as like blockers. So the Gum Gum Rain actually really helps a lot, like discarding like dead Borsalinos into like certain matchups. So that's why I put it in there, and been working pretty well on the sim. So and then for 2Ks, we're playing double Mihawk. Let me show the cool Mihawk. The reason we're playing double Mihawk is because we're playing just better 2Ks overall. We're playing 4 of the new Garp from set 5, who's basically just Kaya, except for instead of discarding, you bottom deck them, right? So you draw 2, bottom deck 2, and obviously you can bounce it back with Zeph, which is another card you can bounce back other than Crocodile, which I forgot earlier. But 4 Kaya, and so that's 10 right there, and then we're playing 4 Sasaki, so we're playing a total of 14 2Ks. The reason we're playing so many 2Ks is because our Kaido deck, like with the Kaido, when we drop down the Kaido right there, we want to make sure that we're able to survive the next turn. So like this Kaido is basically a body that like can't get off the board, and if we play it, we don't want to get punished by them like going for lethal. So like if we draw it, we're most likely drawing into answers, and if they don't kill us that turn, then we can like wall off with these cards right here, which are 4 Miss All Sundays, which can obviously get back the Gum Gum Rain. It can get back the 3000 Worlds and the Red Rock. And then we're playing 4 of the Doflamingos. What they do basically is they help us with like basically unbricking our starting hand, because like I said, this is a tempo deck. So, you know, we're no longer playing Senamaru, which is normally what we would play on 3 Dawn. We just play the Doflamingo, and the Doflamingo, let's say we already have a 7-cost Borsalino in hand. Okay, well now we're looking for Mihawk, and then we're looking for Kaido. And obviously you structure your draws, so you draw them on curve, right? You draw, you play 7-cost Mihawk. Okay, next turn we're playing 9-cost or 7-cost Borsalino. Next turn we're playing Mihawk, and then maybe a Red Rock, and then maybe a Kaido, and then you just kind of find that with this. And if you don't find that with that, then you can find it the very next turn with these cards right here, which are the new OPO5 X Drakes. I also like X Drake because he's not only a 6k blocker, but he is unamaruable, which means that if they play activate Amaru, which you should never play into, by the way, leave them at 2 life, any Katakuri player. Obviously they can Thunderbolt and then Amaru, which, you know, whatever, they can do that. But if they're just at 2 life and they don't want to use the Thunderbolt, they can't Amaru this without trashing a life, which is great. Or they can't Amaru this at all, and that's a little bit safer. And it just helps you defend against 7k attacks, which Katakuri has, which a lot of decks have, like Purple Luffy has 7k attacks. So this is there to just basically take a hit to 2k out, like turn itself sideways 2k out, and most of the time they'll swing into this with like a 7k or something like that. And either if you have an abundance of 2ks, you can counter out again, or if they swing 8k, well, it took a block and then it took another block, so it did its job. And then the last card that we have is 3 of our trigger blockers, which are the boas, right? You get these from the starter deck for ST03. just a good card in general. I really like having a little bit of luck factor in here because obviously you're a 5-life leader. Of course, there's only 3 of them, but this card is never dead. It is a blocker. If you draw it in hand, it's a 1k counter, and it's a blocker out of life if you trigger into it, which can save you a lot of the time. And obviously, no one's going to be expecting a boa blocker, so they're not going to be playing around it. So that's the deck. Let me show you how to play it, basically. Okay, so both of these games were actually pretty close. I think this guy actually just like hard misplayed at the end. I don't know if he either hard misplayed or just like, I don't know, like couldn't do anything else. But this is just going to show you basically what the deck can do. I'm not saying it's tier 1 or anything like that, but it definitely can do a lot of really cool things in this meta, especially against certain matchups like Enel and Purple Luffy. I think Sakazuki's a little bit more tough because they have more ways to deal with your big characters. If you only see like 2 of them, they're going to be able to deal with both of them. But if you see like 3 or 4, I don't think they'll be able to deal with them. So he swings 5 at my life, which I take. And then he plays Holy, and I decided to just 3,000 Worlds the Ohm, because I already know what my setup is, you know, what my stack is over the next coming turns, just because I just already looked at that with Doflamingo. So this guy got Holy, and then he triggered into Ashura, which allowed him to draw a Sky Island card, and then he gets another Ohm, in which he whiffs and plays another Holy from hand. So off to a pretty good start for this guy. Can't like, dude, yellow is honestly the worst. And then he thunderbolts my Doflamingo, which I don't get. And then I trigger, I get a trigger of my own, and it's a red rock, which I bottom deck as Ohm. And then he passes, and then I put 2 on my leader, and I swing 7 into the Holy, in which he counters out, which is probably smart. And then I go ahead and start placing at the top the Kaido as well as the Mihawk. I put the other Kaido in the very, very, very further back because I don't want to draw 2 in a row. If I end up not being in a position to draw the Kaido, I probably would need counters. So he swings 5 here. I go ahead and block it. And then he swings 5 again. I go ahead and I think I take this one, if I remember correctly. No, I don't take this one. And then I think he swings 7 at the Mihawk, which I decided to let it go because I don't want to go down to, I'd be down to 2 cards in hand. And then he swings 5 at life here, and then I take it and I trigger it into a 3,000 Worlds, which is great to deal with the Holy. And then here's my Mihawk. I debate a second. I swing 5 into the Holy, and I think he counters out, which makes my decision a lot harder. Because I was gonna bottom deck the Enel here, but I was like, well, he's just gonna get his leader effect anyway. I might as well just get guaranteed targets off the board. And I'm looking at my trash right now. I'm like, do I do this? Like, what do I do here? So I end up deploying the Mihawk here, and I'm thinking for a second, and I'm like, yeah, I just gotta get the guaranteed hit off the board, which is the Holy. So because obviously, with 3 characters, he'd be in lethal range. However, he has 2 Shuras, so he can just pump those up too, which, you know, it is what it is. Obviously, if they do that, they're a little bit more desperate. They don't have a lot of plays. It is a little bit of annoying. Or it is a little annoying that they did that, or that he was able to do this. But he swings 6 at life. I counter out, and then he Marus and gives his Shura plus 3,000, and then he swings 7 at life, and then I take it just because I want to bait him into like doing something. I don't even remember what. And then I take the other one. He swings 7, and then I go ahead and trash the Mihawk, and he passes. And then I'm like, well, I guess I don't really have anything else. And then I swing 9 at the Enel. And the Enel trashes his own Sanji to get the life back, and then discards the 2k in his hand, and I'm all right with that, right? And then here's why Gum Gum Rain is so good, is because so he thunderbolts me right here, right? And then I get back the Gum Gum Rain from my trash, which automatically allows me to be able to basically take a hit, because I can go because he doesn't have the Dawn, I don't think, to go to 8k. For two different people, if that makes sense. I don't think he does, at least. He has 8 Dawn, Shura's a 2, so for him to put Shura at 2, he'd have to put six on him, and then that would leave Enel, the leader, to only be at 7. So then he just swings 9 at life here. All right, go ahead and get the Gum Gum Rain back. And then he swings 9 at life, or 7 at life, and then I just go ahead and block and get like a red rock. Sorry about that, my mic cut off. But yeah, end of the game right there. I just swing 9 and he just dies, and that's it. So next game. All right, this one is a setup. This one sped up a decent amount because this game was a little bit longer. This one was like 13, 14 minutes. So I cut it down. Should be like 7 or 8 now. Just sped it up a little bit. The reason I took so long here is I had to turn on my fan because it was getting really hot in my room. And don't have any turn 1 plays. I never do. And I just pass with 1 Don. And then obviously plays the Branu. And the Branu will search for a Houndblaze, which is not really what I want to see. And he discards a Sakazuki or a Borsalino. And then because he has the Houndblaze, I figure there's no point of me even playing the Boa, because he's just going to swing into it for 1, and then, I mean, I guess I could block it. It doesn't matter either way, but, yeah, I mean, I guess I could, I mean, it's either a counter or a blocker. The Houndblaze would probably get that one, but, I mean, with me countering out, it's pretty much a blocker either way, except I guess I didn't counter out here. I think I didn't counter out because I was looking for actual plays. If you can see my hand, I only have Borsalino, or I only have blockers, basically, and I'm looking for, like, you know, Borsalinos, Mihawks, things along those natures. But he plays a Kuzan, which actually is not really what I want to see at all, because I was going to play the X-Drake to help me kind of like dig for answers. And maybe I should have played the X-Drake here, but I didn't want my X-Drake to just immediately be red rocked, and then he have like 2 like 7 or 8k swings with the Kuzan as well as like something else. Or I guess if Kuzan swings, I could just block it. But then again, he's going to use a Houndblaze eventually. So it's tough to say. It's tough to say. But I go ahead and use the 3000 Worlds here just so I can be able to get the Kuzan off the board. And then here's where I use the Boa blocker as a counter. And then he swings 5 here. And I think he swings 5 here. And I just take it, I'm pretty sure, because I don't have any cards. And I just keep drawing Mihawks. I know I'm playing 14 2Ks, guys, but because we're playing the Kaido engine, I feel like we need to have those. However, with the extra Gum Gum Rain, maybe we can play 13, maybe even 12, and just play like other big characters. That way we can have some type of tempo plays. But I go ahead and play my X-Drake, and then I rearrange the top to give me 2 Borsalinos. And I swing 7 at life here, in which he probably, yeah, he just counters out of this one. Because he has the Borsalino, putting him to 6, and then the 2k. So there are arguments to swing at the Branu, but I mean, and sometimes it's right. Sometimes you should clear the board, but the thing is, like, if you put a lot of pressure on Sakazuki, from what I've come to know, is Sakazuki often does not have a lot of counters in hand. So if you keep swinging 7 at life, eventually they're going to start to, you know, your punches are going to start to connect, and it's going to be a lot easier to. It's going to be a lot easier to end the game when you realize they have no counters, right? And that's actually how I won this game, is I realized, like, from my experience, okay, Sakazuki has no counters. Let me just try to go very aggressive and see if I can kill him. And it worked. So I think he's going to put 3 Dawn on his Sakazuki here. And punch at me, yep. And I'll go ahead and believe I take this. And I trigger into a 3000 Worlds, which I don't use, but then I just play the Borsalino. I swing 7 at his life. Obviously, what I could have done is I could have bottom decked the Branu and then swung into the other Branu, and he'd have no characters to swing with, which could be smart, especially because he has another Houndblaze. Maybe I should have done that, but then again, like I said, applying pressure to Sakazuki is just often better. Unless you're in the mirror match. If you're in the mirror match, then you'll clear their board, because if you have 1 life and they have nothing on the board, then you're relatively safe to play Kaido. So that's kind of my philosophy. So then he goes ahead and Ice Ages it, and then puts 2 Dawn on, or a Dawn on Branu, swings 7. I trigger into a Boa blocker, which came in very much clutch. And then he swings. I think he's just gonna go 5s here, because obviously it's a waste to go 7s. And I counter out of this one with a Mihawk, I believe. Yep. And then he swings probably just 5 here, and then I'll just block it. Might as well get her Houston as a blocker. It took a hit. So here's where my other Borsalino comes in handy. So he trashes a Borsalino, and then I swing... Wait, why did I only swing 7 there? I don't remember. Okay, yeah. Swing 7, and then I get a Miss All Sunday from the trash too. Okay. I was like, why did I swing 5 naked there? That was like a weird thing. But he ended up taking it either way, which is fine. Which is great. So he goes ahead and swings 5 at life and cost minus the Miss All Sunday. And I figure Hound Blaze is coming out, so I might as well just use my Miss All Sunday to get the block back and get a 3,000 worlds. Figure that's the best use of her, you know. I hope that makes sense. And I'm obviously not worried about him going for game here. Even if he has a Hound Blaze, like I can still probably counter out of like one of the attacks. And he doesn't know my hand's mostly dead, but I can go to 9, which, you know, if I play this many 2Ks, I assume I can get either like a 2K out of life or maybe even the Gum Gum Rain. So I'm feeling pretty good. He goes ahead and plays his own Borsalino here. And I draw pretty much nothing. I swing 8 at his life here, I'm pretty sure. And, yep, swing 8 at his life, and he's gonna take this one, I'm pretty sure. And the reason I'm going 8 is because I'm gonna Kaya and try to draw into, like, some type of play. But I know I need to put him on a clock. So even if he does Rebecca. So I Kaya first, and then I trash 3,000 worlds and a Red Rock. And then I Red Rock, and then I consider bouncing the brand new back, but I was like, that's just stupid. There's no reason to do that. I consider bouncing my Kaya back too, but I was like, I got 3 2Ks and a 1K now. I think I'm relatively safe. I think I'm good to go here. So he's gonna swing 5 at life here, which is gonna get met with a Zeph. I think he's gonna swing 5 at life here again, which is gonna get met with a Garp, or maybe a Sasaki. No, probably Garp. Garb is the 2K, by the way. It's basically Kaya, but at bottom decks. And then I also kept the Kaya on the board in case I needed to, like, for whatever reason, put 5 Dawn on her to attack, if that makes sense. But that would be a, you know, last case scenario. So, so he trashes Ahina off his leader effect. And then I think he sets up a Rebecca play. And I don't think he has any way of like stalling though. This game's gonna end pretty soon, guys, so I'm not gonna like hide it from you. But basically what happens is he plays Rebecca, tries to play a Moncherie from trash, which I think is like a mistake at the end, just like the Enel player made. But I mean, even if you'll see his hand whenever he quits, but even if he like would have like gotten a 2K back from life, he wouldn't have been able to counter out of an 11K, because obviously with 3,000 worlds, I'm gonna bottom deck the Rebecca and then swing 11, and I go ahead and take this hit, and then I just bottom deck the Rebecca, put 6 Dawn on Croc, swing 11. If you got it, you got it. He doesn't have pretty much any counter. He goes to 8, and then I win.